And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. Sorry for those of you watching on YouTube, if you've only just watched the previous part and recognize that I did not actually get around to putting that comment up on YouTube, asking which of the services we should be targeting. I think the answer is we're just going to do them all, kind of. So in technology, let me get to technology proper. We've got grooming down here, pleasure down here. We can ignore Grand Arena. We're probably going to want to get down to the temples at some point. We're going to want to get asylums. I might try to skip on elderly care. We're probably want gilded seats, upgrade the toilets at some point. We're going to want to run down to extravagant well, most importantly to get bathhouses. We are going to want to do taverns at some point. Although I think out of all the things, taverns are probably the lowest on the priority, because that's going to be another input, not just another maintenance, to produce. We've got 106 knowledge, so I have to make the decision what we're going to spend first. Although the answer in the long run will be yes to all of them. It's tools in libraries. Laboratories. Tools in laboratories. Oh, and that answers the question I had on when I was in Reddit the other day. So yeah, it's two upgrades for the lab, one for the library. So you can pick up second house, go towards bathhouses, or second floors and go to bathhouses, which I think will require coal. I think we could probably squeeze that in with pretty much no penalty, other than the fact we need 4 more knowledge to make that work. We also need second houses for the improvement to the lights and hearth. Or I can make the dash to, or try to make the dash to grooming or pleasure via extravagant markets, although that would require picking up the skull, which is the tavern. Don't think we're going to institute the tavern right away, although we have enough that we can technically pick up extravagant markets. We can look in-game what the markets are going to cost to upgrade. No, that one's just ready to upgrade. Have I not instituted my market upgrades? I have not instituted my first level market upgrades. Okay, we should do that first. Oh, and I can go back in there, and now that we've done the first level, I can see what the second level is going to cost. So the second level is going to cost cut stone, but otherwise it's the same sort of list as what we're already working with. So that should be pretty doable, honestly. Yeah, so we'll take the time, let some time pass while we're upgrading those markets. We're going to upgrade all the markets. And right now, the thing holding us up on that is... well, first I'll upgrade from 0 to 2. Or 0 to 1, and then we'll save up and probably do 0 to 2. But yeah. Furniture and pottery is blocking us there. And then service-wise, I suppose there's an argument to go to Asylum first. That only costs rations to run, and will get us our deranged population back to work slowly. We have 99 deranged. I don't think on our first build of the Asylum we're going to build it straight to 100, because I think it treats them and then returns them to the working population, right? So we probably don't need 112 Asylum sites, hopefully. How much does the Asylum actually cost to build? Wood, metal, okay. So that's not too bad. Again, furniture, we're actually out of furniture, so we're going to delay picking that up until we have the inputs. And then that's cut stone, metal, cut stone, furniture, tools, cloth, and furniture. Okay. Yeah, right now we're just sort of waiting for furniture to go up. There is even an argument to be building more furniture. But right now we're trying to improve the support of the city, probably without trying to expand the industry. So if I have to, I'd rather actually export rather than, well, rather import rather than produce locally things at the moment. Because we are going to expand something. I probably actually want that to be libraries, so we can have the knowledge to do those quality of life upgrades. And that's basically what we're going to be working on here. The higher we can get the fulfillment, the more we can have people coming in via migration rather than birthing them. And birthing them is slow. It takes 5 years for a generation to come of age. Although in the long term, that gives us both native happiness, and we are able to fully indoctrinate them before they graduate. So there's an argument, right, that we're going to successfully indoctrinate them, which is also an opinion boost. At some point, we might build universities, and then we'll indoctrinate them in schools, and then educate them in the university or something like that. We don't need to do both, although the university is going to take away from the working population, so we're holding off on that one. I think we're still making money over time. Our worth is down because we spent a bunch. I think we got raided. I think we spent a bunch on being raided and then repairing from the raid, post-raid. Another thing I could do is I maybe don't need as many people working on innovation. We could probably pull people off of innovation. Yeah, let's try pulling about 10 people off of innovation. Because I don't think we need them right now. And that frees them up for other tasks. That also means we can probably pull about 10 people off of the clay pit. Because that would be the clay feeding the guys working in the lab, which aren't working there anymore. Which would be bringing up about 20 more people that, again, we can then swap around and put in a lab, probably. Upgrade for the size that we're going right now is 112. I might need to increase pottery production to support that. Yeah, we're running negative pottery. Okay, I need to increase pottery production a bit. Do I have excess space in my potter, or do I need another potter? I need another potter. Okay. I might not do a bigger potter. I might just do a copy. Give me another of the same size. Yeah, and money is trending back up. Yeah, I think that's our value there, right? So we're low. That might be the profit too. Yeah, so I think we just go ahead and probably copy another lab in at some point, which will eat about 20 workers. Provide us the innovation we do for more bonuses. But I think we're going to hold off people injured. And of course, I'm waiting obviously for the furniture and such, right? So I should not try to get too far ahead of myself. Because right now, until we can fix the fulfillment problem, we can't really have too many more immigrate. We're actually over the auto setting here, so population should actually decline until we get back down to the auto setting, or we get a new wave of native people coming out of the hatcheries. We're 18 days into this current generation. check all the wells upgraded to level 1. Yeah. All the hearths should be as well. Guard post here. I should upgrade this guard post. Got everything to do it, so let's do it. That makes it more efficient for the number of workers. Is that all the guard posts upgraded? Yes. Speakers, I don't think we have the upgraded speakers yet, although that's something we should pick up at some point. We have quite a few speakers, so this would be a pretty good improvement across the board to all the speakers. Do I have the stage upgrade? I don't have the stage upgrade. Again, same sort of thing. Proving what we can to raise our standards of living. Oh, and I'm currently making more paper than I need, although not by much, surprisingly. Yeah, not by much. So we needed that paper, it just probably means I could probably get away with setting up an export of surplus paper. Okay, let's set up an export for surplus paper. Logistics, export depot. This is my paper makers over here. Well, that doesn't require pottery, so if we get pretty much done with the furniture requirements for the current upgrade pass we're doing on the markets, we'll come around and we'll do Asylum. Bull and Asylum. You're going to export paper. Am I not allowed to export paper? No, I am allowed to export paper. There's paper. We'll set the limit pretty high because we're using it for education and we want our education to be working, but we don't need it, like, really high. Okay, so enough of the non-immigrant, or non-native population has died off that the migration should be resuming if we have the loyalty to have aspiring immigrants. In theory, we're slowly working the market. Market here should go up to 66%, so we should be getting a little bit more fulfillment from the markets. Right now, the only thing they're getting from the markets right is their clothes. Technically, the other furniture is being stored there, so it is a thing to be aware of that we have furniture being stored at the markets that isn't necessarily being used. And I mean housing furniture, which is slightly different from furniture, which is a subcategory of the housing furniture, just to make that extra confusing. Sorry about that. We'll upgrade that one, and then we got 3 more to go. So we have to wait for the bots to pile up again. Definitely an argument to put some roads in that section. I can see lots of, effectively, them carving their own dirt roads. So that's probably an argument for working up the road. Something is happening in faraway Garanthi hives. The price of things like ore and meat are on the rise. A sure sign that they're having some difficulties below. Well, nothing is definite is known by the non-Garanthi. It is likely they're either an epidemic or cause of digging too deep. Yeah, you can always be worried about that digging too deep, you know? Okay. Yeah, so it looks like every 10 days we'll be able to upgrade a marketplace. We're actually technically working a little bit slower on the furniture, so I'm surprised the pots haven't caught up yet. I may in fact need to build more furniture at some point. More furniture makers. And then with law and order, if people need to be executed, they're good to go. Apparently we have more fight pits available than there are fight pits. Okay. I don't think that's how the game the math works, but apparently it is. Most of the stockades are available. 13 of 16 spots open in the dungeon. Oh, it's the middle of the night, so the stocks are empty. That's fair. Food days is trending up, which is good to see. Although we just had the harvest. Yeah, the inconsistent law is a little bit of a problem trying to keep the fulfillment up. There's maybe an argument. This caps out 20 days. Apparently doesn't. Maybe 25. Anyway. There's maybe an argument to increasing food servings, but then that's just going to put more stress on the food industries, which we're not trying to grow right now. That's a food stall, not a market. Yeah, haven't quite saved up the pots yet. I suppose, although I have to remember to turn them back on. It's the reason we're leaving the furniture options enabled on the market, at least the important ones that affect our faction here. Yeah, good to see that money is still trending up. That's good to see. The current trend looks like about 5k in taxes. Trade's actually net negative, so I should be a little bit careful about expending trade imports. Although probably most of the negative is the import of eggs. There's an argument I should probably import the veg as well. Which is actually cheaper in the market. Eggs or veg? 37, 30. Yeah, so there's an argument I should import the veg as well. Because if our people are given a choice, we probably want them to be veg and not eggs. You might think about that if the money process continues to stay positive. Okay, I think we got enough for the next market. Almost got enough for the next market. We're just there on the up and downs on the ceramics, the pots for the marketplace. There we go. Next one upgraded. We do want them all upgraded. Because as we upgrade it, that's helping with access, or with the service market here. And we want to do religion at some point, but we're going to spend through a lot of burial stuff our people are not actually all that interested in. On the other hand, how are my graveyards doing? They're all empty, or mostly empty, hopefully. That one's a little busy. 5 of 15. 15, well, yeah. That's the empty spots. Okay, so they've all got some empty spots. We should have pretty much covered the entire town. And we have a graveyard for people who wanted to be using the graveyard, but people apparently don't care about it, so we're not going to expand it any more than that. Mistake. Arguably, that was a mistake to build us, so we're like off to the basis of that. .72 children, although we have one particularly young one. There is a chance that children get involved in accidents and then, you know, don't make it to adulthood. So it looks like we've had one potentially suffer such a fate from the second batch of children. I do need to stay cognizant of the fact that we are not wood positive, so every once in a while I need to send people out to gather wood. Manually send out people to gather wood. And the number of odd jobbers is looking pretty good. Granted, before the odd jobbers were probably pretty high because we were dragging all the wood in. We've mostly dealt with that. We are going to want to build another library. I'm debating whether or not I should do that now. Since our admin is the libraries, right? Yeah, so let's... I'm basically going to repeat the existing design, but I'm not going to start this one upgraded, is what I'm going to do. To the point of effectively rebuilding it. In this one too tall, that's what's going on. There we go. Wondering, like, where did I put the interior supports? It looks like I need some interior supports. The answer is, well, you didn't on the last one, because you didn't need to. Okay, that works. Oh, I need to give it some doors. For some reason, they insisted on having some doors. For some strange, perfectly logical reason, they insist on having some doors. Yeah, so that's going to be costing some furniture, but we have furniture. There's an industry I think we want to expand right now. It's the furniture industry. And the pottery industries. Yeah, this will give me a good idea. I forgot what the upgrade cost effectively was in the library, so we're building a tier 1 and then we'll upgrade it. Once we know what that cost is, cost differences. It's more efficient per worker to have it be upgraded. Although it requires a more diverse industry really to support, right? Cut stone and gems, okay. Cut stone, gems, fabric, which we've got plenty of, and furniture. Yep, so we'll keep running them upgraded. We're importing the leather right now. So there's an argument I could continue to run up the export costs by turning the leather on here, but I think we'll run it unupgraded, or unleathered, let's say. And that should provide enough that we can turn on the Asylum system. Asylums. In fact, it's been running long enough. Oh, actually, we didn't need that for Asylums. I need that for running the bathhouses, right? Yeah. I still think we're going to do Asylum system first. Just, I want to test that out. Okay, so let's pick up the Asylum. Since we do the next market upgrade, and it's not going to be all the markets done, we've only got 4 of 6. Once we do the next market upgrade, I think I'll design the Asylum. Although I don't think we're going to go particularly big on. I think we'll do like an Asylum for 20 people or something. We'll see what the default is per Asylum cell, probably is a good way to describe it. Because I don't know how quickly they work through the deranged population. We don't want to overbuild the Asylums right now. So just waiting on furniture. There we go. So, that would be the next one there. In the meantime, let's get the Asylum going. Let's put the Asylum over here, actually. So... Health. Asylum. Turn the speed down for this, even though... We're mostly just passing time, even if we weren't actively building here. So, Asylum has a cell, which treats one deranged person +1 deranged. Okay, so it's basically 1 asylum worker for every 4 deranged. I decided I wanted to change to improve walkability. So we're going to do it 5 wide, like so. And then I think we're going to do 4 rows is what I'm going to try to do. Now this is probably not the most optimal of shapes for this building, but it should work. Oops. One of those. That was entirely the opposite of what I wanted to do. Almost that moment when you wish there was a undo your undo button, yes. So the undo button is right-click, but it doesn't. There's no undo to the undo. You can't put things back unless you manually put them back. Okay, so something like that, and then we need to put enough, effectively, interior wall pillars in to support the place. Put it on the wrong side. Put it on the wrong side. So I need to leave that square accessible. Otherwise we get a problem. The solo of the square. There we go. So that has the only foundation problems. It has no support problems. And then we'll put a couple doors in. I'll put like 4 doors in. One at each of the corners. And you can see the furniture cost. The rest of that's actually pretty manageable. It's just the furniture cost there that's expensive. So, and then that's because we probably just need a bit more furniture. That shouldn't be too bad. So we'll build some roads. And yeah, that should be enough to treat 20 people at any given time. We technically have 120 something deranged, so they're gonna have to work through the backlog. But as long as that treats them fast enough, that should work through the backlog. That's probably overkill already. Honestly, that's probably overkill. And I think I need another carpenter. Another carpenter. Where is my existing carpenter? Well, there's a carpenter. That's probably my copy. So we're going to do a control left shift to copy, and I suppose pasting you there wouldn't be too bad. Paste you next to the duplicate as well. Yep. Carpenters next to the carpenters. That makes sense. And we'll employ another 20 carpenters, and that'll help us keep positive carpentry as we build more and more stuff that requires carpentry, maintenance-wise. Running a little bit low on wood again. Let's fell another clump of trees. And I say I'm low on wood. It's 1.5k wood. It's a lot of wood. Just we also consume a lot of wood. We're consuming 500 wood per day. So that's only like 3 days of wood if the main wood production shut down. Things are being dragged there. I think the thing we're held up on is the furniture itself. So the asylum system, if everything goes according to plan, should really just be supplying us with, well, improving our worker efficiency. We're going to basically have 4 workers here working to keep workers working. At some point I might want to go for bigger libraries. Just physically bigger libraries, just to minimize how many duplicates we have. Because there's nothing in that design that's fundamentally stopping me from just making the design bigger. In fact, well, that actually saves me space, because it'll save me the interior wall for every merger that I effectively do. I'm not exactly sure how many workers you can assign to a particular workplace. We can probably make them real big. Okay, so everything's been delivered, so the asylum should be completed soon. There we go. So they should be rounding up their first 20 patients. Yeah, so I don't necessarily know how long it takes to treat the deranged, but as long as it's got some reasonable turnaround time, that should help to reduce armor deranged. And effectively restore them to working citizens. The vegetable harvest, I think it just came in. Yeah, like, where did all the odd jobbers go? Out to harvest the vegetables. Well, all the vegetables specifically. Okay, we're gonna wait for furniture to go up, and then we'll grab the last market upgrade. What do I need for the next food stall? Do I want to upgrade the food stalls? No, we could do that. The concern with doing that is that's going to raise the consumption of cut stone. Although, probably most of the buildings we're planning on building are probably going to at some point raise the requirements for cut stone. Bathhouse will. Barber will. Parlor won't. Argument maybe to go to massage parlor then. Save on the cut stone. Tavern won't. Well, the tavern is going to require us to build an entire new industry. That one's going to be a little bit delayed. The temples probably will. In fact, upgrading the temple, upgrading the shrine. Upgrading the shrine is just furniture. So upgrading the shrine is definitely doable. Although it's 600 per shrine. The shrines aren't necessarily very cheap. Oh yeah, it definitely looks like it's reducing the number of deranged. So I think there's 90 deranged not in treatment, is effectively what this is showing up here. So there's 20 being treated, 90 not being treated. Previously it was basically showing constantly 999 because we're or 99 because we're over 100. Over 100 untreated. Well, that's going to take me through Extravagant Market anyway. Which is more cut stone, but that's also kind of what it wouldn't be impossible for us to expand cut stone. The thing that would be the worst about that is we are pretty much camped out on the mine. On the stone mine itself. So at some point we'll have to set up an import for stone if we're going to continue expanding stone-based industries. The new mason working at full speed? Yeah. Could be another net 30 workers as well. Yeah, that Insane Asylum is definitely working. Down to 86 untreated. And obviously as that treats them, we get more working population, so that's good. Waiting for the 120-ish furniture we want. For the last market upgrade. Well, last upgrade to level 1 from level 0. Here we go. Oh, it could be posh relief. What do we need? Because we've got toilets everywhere to some degree. What's the toilet upgrade? Furniture. Furniture, pots, cut stone. Okay, we already got that. So yeah, let's grab gilded seats. In fact, there's an argument we just need more toilets, apparently. What's the accessibility on our toilets? Lavatories should be sitting at around 66 if we had perfect access. We're down to 88% access. Yeah, we're probably sneaking up on that limit where we need another toilet somewhere. Well, maybe another toilet everywhere is kind of the problem, I think, what we're seeing with the toilets. Because this area wants more toilets, this area wants more toilets. That area's happy. That area wants more toilets. This area doesn't even have a toilet. Which, thinking about it, that should probably be the first thing we fix. Let's get that area a toilet. Because that was a copy and paste, that's already the level 1 toilet. I need more wood. Let's chop down the wood over here. Wondering why my furniture isn't going up very fast. Well, if it's got no wood to make into furniture, it's not going to go up very fast. And then I haven't checked up on our empire, I suppose. I think most of it was already built out, right? So you've got one free work. You're a bit grumpy. Yeah, there's maybe an argument I need to change where we put the roads. I'm gonna put troops everywhere. Okay, we're gonna move you down there because that bit's getting a little bit grumpy. We're gonna drop the taxes here because we're pulling the army out. So we want you to stay as happy as long as you can with no armies there. And then back in here, our laboratory number 5 is complete. Let's upgrade laboratory number 1 as soon as we have 40 furniture with which to do it. Technically costs 38, but we probably want a few spare. And this laboratory is being perfectly used, so this will be a big buff in effectiveness. Although it won't allow more people to use it, so... Fulfillment for the people who are allowed to use that toilet will be beneficial. Again, you can see the seasonal variation in the access. One more reason why we're trying to move away from just buffing it with food. Yeah, 90-something% access, 90% proximity. So it might be a little overly stressed in a few locations, but it's working. Got enough coverage. What am I... Furniture still. Thought we had... I looked at 40 furniture, went to go click on it. Here we go. We upgrade you. And now that's what the posh one looks like. That's what the previous one looked like. And then the very first one looks very made of wood. We are getting closer and closer to actually having good fulfillment, meeting expectations to fulfillment. Although I am also getting closer and closer to the point where it's like, yeah, no, it's time I need to get more people into the town, which is going to stress that more. Yeah, because we'll probably go for these ones even if we're not going to make use of Skull. Should go for our upgraded benches, I suppose. But the bathhouse is the only thing behind second floor. Second floor is just more people. Although this maybe is an argument for going the second floor option. So I don't have to build more houses, I have to upgrade the houses. I think the harvest is coming in, which is why we have a low number of odd jobbers. Yeah, the harvest just came in. Rumors of raiders. Attacks from raiders are on the rise. Several of the piers accosted recently. It looks like something beyond your border or beyond your corner 6 is spurring them on. The usual rumors make the rounds that they are fleeing something that one of the old empires shook off its lethargy, and so on. While the veracity of the rumors is very doubtful, the raiders are very real, and the prices for high-end military equipment are very high. Okay. Upgrading the next toilet. 2 more toilets to go. I don't have enough janitors. That's actually a good question. Where's my janitor down here? Do I not have a janitor down there? That would explain it. You know, we have enough janitors down there. We're having stone delivery issues. What's going on? Okay. Get me stone. Pull. From there. Yeah, with no maintenance, the quality was down 10%. Okay, so that's another thing that might help me get quality up, is if I can maintain my services. Yeah, a bunch of the services down here are struggling with the stone component of the maintenance. I'm going to pull back a little bit on clay, because we're having odd chopper problems. Pull another 20 workers off of clay. Anyway, we're getting pretty close. So I could probably close enough that if I needed to. In fact, we've got 45 inspiring immigrants that, like, if I said come in, they'd come in. If we needed more people, we could pull more in. And at some point, I will need to pull them in, just to forward the services. Well, to work the services, right? Well, or to work the libraries, to have the innovation to make the services. Oh, was it not stone? Was it cut stone? I think cut stone. Up to cut stone, and I'll double check, make sure that is a place we can get cut stone from. No, I might just have a shortage cut stone. Yeah, so that's where all the cut stone is. I'll set you to get cut stone from there. Oh, and on the subject of improving density, we've got housing over here that wants more furniture. And, well, eventually more cut stone as well. I'm going to upgrade, or increase the auto to another 50 workers. And we're going to grab another masonry. Generate some more cut stone, help push more cut stone in the system. Click the furniture, or the physician, not the laboratory. Here we go. So that'll help with the service from that source. So we should actually be able to take a laboratory almost all the way up to full, which is pretty good. We'll save up some furniture. I'll get some housing upgrades. Just so we've got some more capacity to put people in the town. In theory, we have housing. Okay, so I've got a distribution problem is what we got going on here. Okay, so it's that upper neighborhood mostly looks like it's having the problems. So I can add more housing in here. Assuming we can still generate furniture. And help a little bit with the housing. Yeah, I'm leaning more and more towards taking the dive down to bathhouses through second floor. That's going to require more knowledge, but I think all the options are going to require more knowledge, right? It's kind of the unenviable problem. Oh, innovation-wise, can I improve my furniture makers? $9 for 13 probably is worth it. Then 10 for 12 is probably worth it, yeah. And at which point I need to put more innovation if I want more, but... In fact, that's probably worth it. Be like another 5. Although we'll probably just reap the benefit there for the moment, or we put people back on play and lab. Yeah, in theory that's 19 furniture, 11 pots now, so it could be better. Disease at our doorstep. Although that's a rumor, that's not necessarily actually affecting us. And we still have positive health, so I'm not too concerned about it. Still have health over 1, what I mean. If we ever reach the point where we're getting a little close to 1, I'll start building more physicians. Because right now, we arguably don't have enough physicians, right? That's what's going on. We can have an even bigger bonus from that if we put more physicians in. Physicians don't make people happy, just avoids them being sick. Okay, we're making 50% more cut stone than we're using, so that should help. In theory, we're running stone negative, even though we're stone stockpile's only full. How's the janitor down here? Janitor down here is catching up. It's behind schedule because of... There we go. We can see the janitor's doing a bunch there. I think it's literally waiting on cut stone to be hauled down. That's why it's not putting more janitors on the job. Because more janitors wouldn't help if that's not actually the problem. And then we're having pottery issues up here. Okay. So let's get a hauler for bringing in pottery. And then I think you're the janitor. Do you want pots, hold? from there. And that should help maintenance you. Maintenance over here. And this is complaints about pots. This one's really not complaining about anything. The odd bit of road needing maintenance, but it's not complaining about resources. No resource complaints over... No, that's actually cut stone complaint. So I'm needing more and more cut stone. We're apparently not shipping it around enough. That's a little bit of furniture. Well, that's not too bad. I think that's just shipping issues. And the one in the middle of town. The one in the middle of town is actually doing the best at keeping it up. Probably because it doesn't have to go so far to get stuff. The dreaded river runs. Okay, pandemic is hit. So, the question really comes down to, can we handle the dead, dying, and sick? Okay, looking at the time, I think this is a good place to put a part break in. We'll deal, well, I say deal, we'll wait out the pandemic in the next one. We got some housing to improve as well, so we'll improve the housing, wait out the pandemic. And we're continuing to improve the city fulfillment by building more and more and more services so that we can reasonably bring in more and more people. Services is the main thing, obviously. Of the 135 fulfillment you can pick up 31 pretty cost-effectively via services. Access is also another big figure, although most of access, especially most of it comes from furniture. A chunk of it comes from furniture. And furniture is not very rewarding, although it could be worse. Big chunk from occupation is retirement. Again, maybe not very worth it, because you still got to feed the retired. Religion isn't very much, but religion, in our case, is all coming from shrines and temples. So yeah, big service is the main one. Furniture is a big chunk. We could also serve drinks. And we could also distribute more clothes. We're kind of doing the bare minimum, sort of, for clothes. Whereas people would ideally want, I think, like 6 times the clothes to get maximum fulfillment. Yeah, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. Take a short break to get up, stretch legs, sip some tea, and then we'll be back to continue recording. So until the next part, we're going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.